Welcome to the Reinvent Your Life podcast, the show that talks about why we do what we do and how we can do it better.
Welcome to the Reinvent Your Life podcast. My name is Chaz Molesky, and today we are talking about personal responsibility. And this is an awesome topic because it often gets misconstrued in articles and websites and so many other things that talk about taking responsibility for your own life. And there's a lot of confusion that's out there. And there's really no good system of how to actually do that, right? And what it can really do for your life in the long run. So today is going to be a brief lesson on it. There's going to be much more in-depth lessons to come in the future. And if you need more on this topic directly, please reach out to me, Chaz at riseabovelifecoaching.com. But with that said, let's get this thing kicked off. If you have not listened to any of the previous episodes, you do not have to resonate with this message, but guess what? It's going to be a really good thing if you do, because you're going to learn some really good stuff, some very valuable things that are going to help you live a better life, reinvent yourself if you're going through a tough time, or just make your current life that might be awesome even better. All right. So if you have not listened, please go back and check those out. So let's talk about personal responsibility. First things first, in order to really get this lesson, because there's some of you out there that are going to listen to this and they're going to say, oh, I already do that, and it's not changing my life. Guess what? The thing about personal responsibility is it's only going to work for you as much as you're going to let it. So the more that you take personal responsibility for certain things, and I mean really take responsibility for the things that are going on in your life, the more you can do that, the more you'll actually give yourself a fighting chance of changing it or working on it or making it better. But if you say that you're taking personal responsibility, but you're still blaming other people, you're still blaming other circumstances, you're not looking for the resources that could help you out, you're really not putting in the extra time, you're spending your nights and your mornings watching TV, if you're doing all of these other things that are really contradicting the personal responsibility aspect of this, you're not going to get any, if not not as good of results as you would otherwise. So really take a deep look right now and really think about, am I truly taking personal responsibility for my life, or am I just saying I am because I like the idea? A lot of people like the idea that they're the ones running their life, right? Governing their decisions. I'm in charge. I'm doing my thing. But a lot of people are also living on autopilot, and they think that every day what they're doing is them taking personal responsibility and taking responsibility for their lives and all that. But in reality, they're just coasting. So really take a big gut check here, all right? Answer that question. There's no judgment, and obviously nobody's going to hear your answer unless you're saying it out loud in the car. But if you're doing this and you're really going to dig deep on it, really think about it. Am I truly taking personal responsibility for my actions, for the things that I have, for the things I don't have, for the things I want, for the things that are happening to me that I don't want? Are you really taking personal responsibility to change these things? Or are you just saying you like that? Or are you just saying you do because you like the idea of it changing, but in reality, you're letting it happen? Because that's where we have to start. All right. In order to take personal responsibility, you have to be very clear on whether or not you really, truly do take that responsibility. Because when you can answer that, then you can move forward, right? Yes, I do. No, I don't. Either or, that's totally fine. You just have to move forward from that. So distinguish right now. Do I take complete 100% utter responsibility for everything that happens in my life? Which means it's my fault. All right. That's literally what personal responsibility is. It is my fault. I get stuck in traffic in the morning. It's my fault. I don't get that raise at work. It's my fault. Okay. You have to take these things on as your own fault, your own responsibility to do this, because that's what's going to put the power back in your hands. If everything is your fault, you can learn from it. You can actually develop a skill of evaluating the things that are going on around you and changing them as needed, or changing certain aspects of your life as needed to get a different result in the end. So if you get caught traffic in the morning and that traffic is your fault, your responsibility, well, then it's also your responsibility to adjust or adapt as much as possible in that day to make up for the traffic you got caught in. Regardless of you, whether or not you caused the traffic, it's your responsibility to adapt and to develop from that happening. Make sense? So the more you can do this, the more you're going to start to notice that You can't control the things that are around you. You can't control the things that are happening around you. You can only control yourself and what you do in the situations. And the more you learn to control yourself, the more you're going to learn how to adapt to your surroundings and adapt to the things that are going on in your life so that you can make them better. And by doing this, you have to take personal responsibility. So everything is your fault. This is how you take complete, utter ownership of your life. When you own everything that's going on in your world, then you can use it to develop. All right? So everything is your fault. Listen, you are the only one, the only person, the only one that can get what you want. Other people cannot get you what you want. They might be able to bring it to you. They might be able to help you get there. But in order to actually truly 100% get what it is that you want, you need to be the one that goes after it. And you need to be the one that gets there. But in order to do that, you have to assume the responsibility that everything is your fault and everything is your responsibility to change it. So in going further with personal responsibility, think about all of the things currently right now that are going on in your life that are out of your control that you blame as a reason why you can't have what you want. Really take a minute and truly think about it, okay? Don't just glance over this. Take a minute and think, what do I consistently say on a daily basis? Oh, it's my boss's fault. Oh, it's my spouse's fault. Oh, it's my kids. I can't do this because of my kids. Or I can't do this because I don't live in this area. I can't do this because I just don't have enough time. Think of these things. What are the things that you keep telling yourself as the reasons why you cannot do something or you cannot achieve something? Look for the blame. Because if you can eliminate just this piece, all right, just the blaming, if you can eliminate that and not make the excuse as to why you don't have something, you can start to work on a way to actually get it or work towards it. This is very, very important. Because a lot of times we just blame things that are going on subconsciously. We don't even think about it. We just get caught in this pattern of blaming. And the more that we blame, the more we convince ourselves that that's the reason that we can't do something. And once we convince ourselves of that, then it becomes a fact in our mind, right? And that we'll never be able to get there. When in reality, it's not true. So think right now, what are the things that you blame in your life for the reasons why you can't have or be the way that you want to be or have the things that you want to have? Take a moment, think of that, all right? And now think about what your life would look like if you did not have those. Now, and this doesn't mean like, oh, I blame my spouse. So if I didn't have a spouse, I could do this. That's not what I mean. What I mean is if you didn't have the blame, if you weren't blaming your spouse, if you weren't blaming your kids, if you weren't blaming your life situation, if you didn't put the blame on things, what would you do differently? Or what would you go after? See, when we get into this mindset and we start thinking about this, then we can really start imagining where we create that frame of possibility like we've talked about in the past. You create that frame of possibility, what you're going to see is there are opportunities out there. There are possible ways of doing it. It might make you uncomfortable. It might make things a little more challenging in your life, but guess what? That is the only way to get what you want and to grow, is to take these things on as your responsibility. Is it ideal? No. Is your situation perfect? No. But guess what? Your situation is right there, and it's not going to change unless you change it. And that's one of the most important things you can do for yourself, is to acknowledge the things in your life that you can change, but you're choosing not to. That is when responsibility kicks into play. So once you can start taking this on and you become this person of personal responsibility, you'll start to notice that you don't blame anything anymore. You start going through your life and things happen and you're not putting a blame on other things. You just start adapting to your environment and using it for your own success or using it for your own progress. And this is where things get awesome, because when you can start doing this, not a lot of things faze you like they did before. You don't get angry at certain little minor inconveniences. You don't get frustrated when stuff doesn't go your way. You don't get in this position where you're letting your outside world dictate what you do or how you respond. You're really in control of not only the things that you're doing, but also your emotions. And once you can master that, and once you can get to that point, let me tell you, you're going to have an incredible, unbelievable life. You'll be in a position where you're looking at things and wondering, how did I even get here? And the whole reason is because you took that responsibility on. You made it your own mission, your own responsibility, your job to live the life that you want to live the best life, and you don't let the circumstances dictate what you can and what you can't have. You consistently work towards the things that you want and the way that you want to be, and no matter what comes your way, you just use it. And if you can't use it, you leave it. And that's where it stays. You don't make excuses. You don't place blame. You don't put yourself in a position of justifying why you're not doing what you need to do. You take on the responsibility of your life. And when you do that, your life changes. So go out after listening to this podcast, find the things that you need to stop blaming, that you need to stop making excuses for. Find the things that you need to make your own responsibility to get what you want, to reinvent yourself, to become that person that you consistently tell yourself you want to be. And when you do that, let me tell you right now, you are going to see such a radical, amazing change in your life that you're going to look back and you're going to say, it was really that easy? Are you kidding me? And I can promise you this is going to happen. All right. So take this lesson. Like I always tell you, knowledge without application is nothing. Apply what you just learned to your life. Take it, use it, develop, become greater, and you will see a change. As always, thank you so much for listening. If you know of anybody that needs to hear this, please let them know about it. Share it with them. Bring them onto the podcast. Bring them onto my side. Let them hear me. Let them change their life with me and you as we go through these lessons. And as always, please like, subscribe, and follow me on Facebook at Rise Above Life Coaching. If you need to reach out to me, Chaz at riseabovelifecoaching.com. As always, have an amazing day, and I will talk to you next time. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening to the Reinvent Your Life podcast. Now go out and apply what you just heard to start your reinvention. Please subscribe, rate, and share this podcast with those that need it most.